Okay. Now for question 28. All right. Now remember on 28, it's just like multiplying regular fractions together. All right. So someone tell me, what can I do with the two fours? You cancel them, right? So now that's just the same as the square root of 3 over the square root of 5. All right. Now A is the same as that. But in math, remember, you're not allowed to have square roots in the denominator. So we rationalize the denominator by multiplying the top and bottom by the square root of 5. And when we do that, we end up with the square root of 15 over 5. All right, now remember, you cannot reduce that because one's irrational and one is rational. So the correct answer here after all that is C. Anybody have any questions with 28? Anybody? All right, let's take a look now at 29. All right, does everybody remember you just have 8 radical 30 minus 4 radical 30, which gives me 4 radical 30. There's not much to do there. All right, it's just like combining like terms. All right, same thing down here. 7 minus 14 is -7. -7 plus 2 is -5. So the correct answer was -5 radical 13x. Anybody have any questions with that? Nobody? All right, good job, guys. Now here, just remember, we have to break these all down, that's all. All right, so let's look at square root of 40. If you recall, 40 is just 4 times 10 minus radical 10 plus 9 times 10. So then 4 radical 10 is the same as 2 radical 10 minus 1 radical 10 plus 3 radical 10. So altogether, that's what? 4 radical 10. Same thing now on 32. Square root of 27 breaks down to 9 times 3. 18 breaks down to 9 times 2. 300 breaks down to 300 or 3 times 100. All right. Then from there, square root of 9, 3. Square root of 9 again, plus 3 radical 2. And then finally, square root of 100, which is, right, plus 10 radical 3. Anybody have any questions with that? All right, now what?
So it's 13 radical 3.
That is correct. You can't add the 3 radical 2 and the radical 3 together. Correct answer, C. Everybody okay with that? Okay, now here, obviously, we can just go ahead and do the 5 radical 19 minus 3 radical 19 and get what? -3 radical 19. Right, so right off the bat, we knew the answer was what? B, but obviously, we're going to go ahead and finish it up. 4 times 28, remember, was 4 times 7, plus 63 was 9 times 7. And so now we know that square root of 4 is what? Come on, guys, square root of 4 is 2, but there's a 4 outside, so that makes it what? 8 radical 7 plus 3 radical 7. So altogether, that gives me 11 radical 7. Anybody have any issues? All right, here we go with 34 now. Square root of 6 times the square root of 10. Square root of 60. Square root of 6 times square root of 15 is square root of, I think it's 90.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, now you break those down. 60 is 4 times 15. And 90 is 9 times 10. Right. 2 radical 15 plus 3 radical 10. All right, now I'm going to go back here because I'm going to show you a better way, right? There was always 2 ways to do these. So I want everybody to think about this, right? Because I want you to understand the numbers better. All right, we're looking for groups of 2. So when you multiply this times this, what is common?
2.
There's a common 2, so that goes on the outside. The 3 is left behind, and the 5 is left behind. So now 3 times 5 is what? 15. Now what's common with 6 and 15? 3. So it's plus 3. Now the 2 is left behind here, and the 5 is left behind here. That's why it's 3 radical 10. All right, I prefer that's how you do it. All right, but if you look at me like, I don't want to do all that, that's fine. Just distribute and then break them down. All right, here we go, 35. Now, once again, all right, if you're looking at these, all right, you're going square root of 10 times the square root of 30, which is the square root of 300. Then this becomes plus the square root of 180. And then this becomes what? Minus the square root of 180, which is really nice for us because what happens to those 2 things? Yep, they cancel out. And then it would be plus, now you have to multiply 6 times 18. All right. Now 6 times 18 is 108. All right. So again, that's the long way. All right. But now when you look at 300, 300 is 3 times 100. Square root of 100 is 10. So that's 10 radical 3. Now over here, 108 we did at the beginning yesterday. That was 3 times 36. So that becomes plus 6 radical 3, which altogether now is what? 16 radical 3. A is correct. Anybody feel free, jump in now if you got a question. What?
On this for 300, we did 10 radical 3. Well, then why on 32 did we do 3 radical 10? Oh, wait, never mind.
Okay, here we go. Now for 36, when you're solving quadratics, you have to square both sides. So I want everybody to come over here and put square here, and then you put a square here. Now the square and square root do what to each other? They cancel each other out. All right, so now you just have to remember 4 radical 3 times 4 radical 3. 4 times 4 is what?
16,
Radical 3 times radical 3.
3,
3.
48.
So 16 times 3, 48 was correct. All right, everybody okay with that? All right, 37. Now remember, on 37, you have to isolate the radical first. So the first thing I'm going to do is subtract 3. So you end up with 2 radical 4r equals 8. Now I have to divide both sides by 2. Radical 4r equals 4. And now I do what? Square both sides. 4r equals 16. So r equals 4.
Wait, what happened to the 2?
I divided by 2. Yes, here you go. I'm showing you right now. Divide by 2, divide by 2. Because remember, you have to isolate the radical. So for 38, I have to do what first? Isolate.
So plus 3.
So plus 3. So square root of k plus 2 equals 10.
And square both sides.
Now we square both sides.
So
K plus 2 equals 100. So k has to equal what? 98. Everybody okay with that?
where do you get 100?
Squared, 10 squared, right?
Yeah.
Everybody okay with 38? All right, 39, again, we're isolating. So we're what?
Minus 5.
Subtracting 5. So square root 2x plus 15 equals 13.
Yeah.
Square both sides.
What do you
2x
say?
plus 15 equals 169. Now we subtract 15. So 2x equals 154. Dividing by 2, x equals,
77.
I think 77. That's all right. It doesn't matter. Shh. I don't know. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. All right. Just focus, concentrate. That's it. All right. Better to participate than sit there, just write things down. Anybody have any questions? All right, now for 40, what am I doing to both sides? Squaring both sides.
Y squared, y plus 6.
So y squared equals y plus 6. Now, this is a quadratic. So I have to set it equal to 0. So y squared minus y minus 6 equals 0. Now you go to factor. Y.
Negative 3
-3
positive 2.
+2. So now y equals 3 or y equals -2.
But it can't equal a negative,
Right. So again, this is the important part. This was the extraneous solution. We say that's an extraneous solution because is it possible for a square root to equal a negative? It's not possible for a square root to be negative. So if I said the square root of 4, you wouldn't say -2. You would just say 2. So the only answer is what? 3. All right, everybody okay with that? All right, here we go. On 41, same principle. You have to do what to both sides?
Make it equal 0 or square root.
Square it first. So on the left side, you end up with 5m minus 16 equals
squared minus 4. Or plus 4.
m squared minus 4m plus 4. When you square m minus 2, remember there's a middle term when you square. M times m is m squared. -2m, -2m. And then -2 times -2 is +4. Anybody have any questions? So now, of course, it's a quadratic. So you want to set the quadratic equal to 0. Now, remember, you want the leading coefficient to be positive. So leave m squared positive, which means you're going to subtract 5m and you're going to add 16.
So it goes m squared minus
M squared minus
n
9
plus 20.
Yes.
and then it's n minus 5 n minus.
So we'll take a look at that real quick. All right, so there's our quadratic. So now we're factoring, very good. M minus 4, M minus 5. So M can be either 4 or M can be what? 5. Now, are both answers okay?
Yes.
Yeah, because look, if I plug 4m, if I plug 4n, 4m, I still get a positive, and if I plug 5 in, I'm still good. So both answers are acceptable. Anybody have any issues with that? All right, so now we need to do a squared plus b squared equals c squared, right? So a squared plus b squared equals c squared. 32 squared plus 60 squared equals c squared. 32 squared, I believe, is 1024 plus 3600 equals c squared. Now, when you add that together, that is 4, 6, 2, 4 equals c squared. Now you take the square root. So take your handy dandy calculator out. 68. Anybody have any issues with that? Anybody? All right, so here we go. Now I want 4 squared plus b squared equals 144. 16 plus b squared equals 144. Technically, I just want this to be 12 squared.
Minus 16, right?
Yeah, now you're subtracting 16. So b squared equals 100. What is that? Is that right? 128? Now listen, on the test, I made it so you had no decimals. You have to break this down. All right. So when you do the square root of both sides, I want everybody to write down the square root of 128. But on the exam, it's not going to be as a decimal. You got to leave it in simplified radical form. So 128, if you recall, is 2 times 64. So what's the square root of 64? So the answer is 8 radical 2. I want everybody to write down 8 radical 2. All right, that's the answer. It won't be the decimal answers. It'll be written as 8 radical 2.
So there is no answer choice, it's right.
No, if you do the square root of 128, that will give you, if I'm not mistaken, 11.31. But on the test, instead of that being 11.31, it's going to be 8 radical 2. All right. So what is the excluded value for number 44?
Minus 3.
Someone else help him.
Minus 2.
2, right? The excluded value is 2. Now, I want everybody to write this down. X cannot equal 2. That's how it's going to be written on the exam. X cannot equal 2. So B would be X cannot equal what? -2. C would be X cannot equal 0. Yeah, 0 in the denominator, remember? What number makes 0 the denominator? All right, because you cannot divide by 0. All right, so for 45, the same exact principle here. Do I care about the numerator? No, the only thing I do is I care about the denominator. So what is the denominator going to factor to? Yeah, so a plus 5 and a plus 3. So we're going to say a cannot equal what? -5, or a cannot equal -3. All right, so obviously the correct answer is what? A. But again, I'm trying to highlight, I want everybody to make sure, I don't want you confused when you see the test. That's how the answer is on the test, on the exam. A cannot equal -5, or a cannot equal -3. Everybody okay with that? Everybody good? All right, here we go. 46, simplifying. All right, here we go. 6 divided by 3 is what? 2, and I like to put a 1 on the bottom.
And then X on the bottom,
X on the bottom,
Y on the bottom.
Y on the bottom, and Z squared on the top. Does anybody need a quick review of that? So that answer is what? What is it?
C.
Oh, wow, I need to fix that. Thank you so much. C or D, fix. Yeah, because I can fix it. All right. Yeah, I don't know why they did that. So I have to retype it now. Okay. Everybody good with 46? All right. Okay, now you have to be careful here because I really prefer that you pull out the GCF. So there's a common what here? 5. Then how many C's can come out?
Square.
Just one.
Oh, I forgot.
And then the D's,
Uh,
2 come out. That's exactly correct. Open parentheses. Now remember, you divide and subtract. So 40 divided by 5 was 8. And does everybody agree we pulled out the C and the D squared, so nothing's left? Plus, I pull out a 5, there's nothing left. I pull out a C and there are what? 3 left. Is there a D left? Nope. So now if you're looking at this now, the 5 cancels. C squared left on top, D squared left on top, and 8 plus C cubed on the bottom. So we have what? Is everybody agreeing? C is,
A and C are the same.
And C.
yeah, that's really bad.
Associate is good.
That's really bad. Yeah, my bad secretary. All right, so thank you. 47, I had to fix. All right. Anybody else have any questions? Yes.
So, on the bottom, you have 5 C's, and on top you have 3, like, you would put like 4 to it.
Hold on.
Where do you leave that one?
What are you saying now?
Like, so we have C4 and then C, the spot is C5, and then in our equation, you only use 4. So where do you leave it?
Okay, so let me see if I'm with you. You're talking about the denominator down here, right?
Yeah.
All right, so I factored out a 5CD squared. Do you agree?
Yeah.
So if I factor out a 5CD squared, there's just an 8 left here, right? Then if I factor out a 5 and a C, that means there's 3 C's left and no D's.
Is there 5 C's?
There's C to the 4th. The exponent tells you how many C's there are. You're factoring out a C. Let me do this again. All right, so here we go. 40 CD squared plus 5 C to the 4th D squared. Remember, think of the buckets here. All right, there's a 5 in each bucket, a C in each bucket, and a D squared in each bucket. So if I pull out a 5, remember, this is 5 times 8. This is 5 times 1. So I have 8 plus C cubed. You agree now?
Yep.
All right, good job. Come on, be patient. All right. What?
On the next 2 problems.
No, I'm not on the next 2 problems. All right. 47. Anybody have any questions with 47? All right, now let's knock out 48.
Yeah, C is.
You guys, look, I'm sorry for that. I said I'm okay with that. That's why it's a review. All right. So here we go. Now, here again, we can just factor the top. The top factors to what? M minus 6 and M plus 2. Does everybody agree with that?
Yeah.
Over M minus 6. So what happens with the M minus 6?
Crosses out. So
Yeah. So it's just M plus 2. All right.
Never mind.
M plus 2. Anybody have any questions with 48? Okay. Now, oh, I know what I did. Okay. So here we go. On 49. So I have factoring. Oh my gosh. Thank you. Just let me do the problems. Factoring out of 2.
B minus 7.
B minus 7 over. And now the denominator is factoring B minus 7, B minus 2. So now what happens to the B minus 7s?
They cross out.
So everybody can tell me now. Gray, what do we got?
A, B, or C.
Thank you, man. Right.
That's a knee slap.
2 over B minus 2. Yeah, okay, let me see. All right, now here we go with 50. All right, so again, we're just factoring. So the top factors to, what's the top factoring to?
Y.
8 and 2.
And the bottom is factoring to, oh yeah, you just got to look at your paper if you did the work. All right, now I'm just saying, it seems as though some of you guys are just busy copying things down.
Minus 2, minus 2.
So Y plus 8.
So y plus 8 over y minus 2 was the correct answer. All right, finally got one right. All right, so how many problems are there on this review?
80.
All right, so tonight you have 51 through 80 to finish up. All right, 51 through 80. Look, guys, I'm understanding if you forgot how to do a few things. All right, but I am not joking about your exam. All right, you have to know how to do these problems. 100%. All right, if you bomb the test because you sat around all week long and didn't bother reviewing, I'm showing, guess how much mercy? 0. I will show you your exam and your percentage. It will not change. There's no curve. 0. All right, and some of you are like B minus. Some of you are A minus. And if you do poorly, it will push you to the lower grade. All right? And I'm really not trying to scare you. I'm trying to say use your time wisely. In class, instead of sitting around, just practice doing the problems. All right, over the weekend, you should redo the whole exam review. On Monday, redo it again. On Tuesday, redo it again. And you can make an A. Nothing is changing. Same problems, just different numbers. And instead of being 80, they'll probably be 50. All right? That's it. It's no secret, no mystery. So if you want to make an A on the test, you have to miss how many questions? 5 out of 50 is all you can miss. If you want to make a B, you can only miss what? 10 out of 50. So if you're looking at this exam review going, man, I didn't know 20 questions, that's a problem. All right, I'm not kidding, kids, guys. I'm not budging. All right. So please review, please study. All right. I don't want you to have a high school grade as a C. I don't want that. All right. With that being said, I've obviously got some fixing to do here, so I will make the corrections.
Mr. Stroud,
Yes, Ava, what?
with the, I wasn't feeling too great yesterday, so I didn't come to math. But is there like, do you have the answers to the ones that you went over that
Yeah, the
day?
video is posted.
Okay, thank you.
All right, you can watch the video. And then tomorrow, if you're having trouble, you can ask me.
Okay, thank you.
All right, kiddo. Have a great day. I'm glad you're feeling better.
All right, thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.